You are seconded. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 8, the debate on the motion on public petition on funds spent contrary to the provisions of Article 223 of the Constitution be adjourned to the next available opportunity. As members of that opinion say aye. Those of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order. Yes, Majority Leader.
Speaker, beg for indulgence because I know members having come from the recess, and this is part of the beast. Kalimulu says that has bedeviled all parliaments, right from the 11th parliament, Honorable Speaker, and this House has spoken at length on abuse of Article 223. So I really want to beg members to get a copy of this report and interact with it, because this relates to the payments that were made in the dying hours of the last regime. The telecom haste, the 6 billion telecom haste, Honorable Speaker, and many other payments that were made in the run-up to the last elections are issues that were being addressed by this report. And I really want to beg members to interact with this report so that when this matter comes up for debate again, we can be able to debate with the full knowledge of what the committee found through the interactions with all the stakeholders that they didn't interact with. And also of note, Honorable Speaker, is for chairs of committees. I can see this matter touches on the Departmental Committee on Agriculture.
Honorable members.
And Interior and National Administration. It touches also on the National Treasury. And
Standing Order 42-1 relating to message from the President
members who sit in this
provides that
committees to interact with this report before, Honorable Speaker, we make a decision on how to, whether or not to adopt the committee's report, Honorable Speaker. And I wish to thank Honorable Makali Mulu for moving that motion of adjournment. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Order number 9, reports of the Auditor General on the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for 9 constituencies in Bungoma County.
Chairperson, Decentralized Funds Accounts Committees. Is that the committee of Mulyungi? Obiri, are you the...
I'm moving on his behalf.
You are the vice chair or a member of the committee?
I'm a member of the committee.
Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the chairman of the Decentralized Committee, I beg to move that this House adopts the 3rd report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its examination of the audited financial statements for the National Government Constituencies Fund for the 9 constituencies in Bungoma County for the financial year 2013, 2014, 2014, 2015, 2015, 2016, laid on the floor of the House on Thursday, the 7th of March of 2024. Honorable Speaker, the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee is established pursuant to Standing Order 205B and is responsible for the examination of the reports of the Auditor General on the accounts of the NGCDF, NGCDF Board, and National Government Affirmative Action Fund, and the NGAAF Board. Honorable Speaker, the committee examined a total of 27 reports of the Auditor General for Sirisia, Kabuchai, Tongaren, Bumula, Kandui, Webuye East, Webuye West, Kimilili, and Mount Elgon constituencies for the financial year 2013-2014, 2015-2016. The specific observations, finding and recommendation to the audit queries are contained in the report, the committee report. Honorable Speaker, the committee, upon examination of the Auditor General's report for the 9 constituencies, made general observations and recommendations as follows. There are outstanding land issues in the constituencies examined related to transfer, succession, and acquisition of the title deeds for all the land purchased in the review period. The committee recommends, amongst others, that the NGCDF board should, within 3 months of the adoption of this report, provide guidelines to project management committees on how to deal with purchase of land that is under succession and the land for which transfers are pending. Further, that the board adopts a policy on the procedure of buying land, while at the same time ensuring that NGCDF committee adhere to the provisions of the NGCDF Regulations 2016 on purchase of land or buildings. Mr. Speaker, reallocation and use of emergency funds. Some of the projects funded using emergency funds did not meet the threshold set out in section 62, 6 in brackets 2, and section 8 of the NGCDF Act. The committee therefore recommends that the NGCDF board should ensure that the fund accounts managers comply with provisions of the Act on the use of emergency funds. Pending ongoing projects were common in the constituencies examined owing to the partial allocation of funds for projects. The committee therefore recommends that the NGCDF board should, with immediate effect, discourage the partial allocation of funds to projects and ensure that the projects are completed at most within 2 financial years. Further, that the NGCDF board should develop a realistic policy framework for costing projects for each constituency, which is informed by the cost of materials, transportation, taxes, topography of each constituency, and reports from the relevant government departments. There are inadequate cooperation between the internal auditors, the Office of the Auditor General, and the NGCDF board, leading to delays in providing documents that were subject to examination by the Auditor General for verification at the time of the audit, while some fund account managers were ill-prepared during their appearance before the committee. The committee recommends that the NGCDF board should strengthen the link between the board, the Office of the Auditor General, and the funds managers, particularly regarding the timely response to audit queries. Further, the NGCDF board should also improve on the post-audit correction of irregularities cited in the Auditor General's report, as well as ensure that there is a structured handover process between fund account managers when their term of service comes to an end. The committee recommends that the NGCDF board should ensure that constituency committees employ qualified accountants for their constituency offices beginning from the financial year 2023-2024 within the 6% administrative allocation allocated to NGCDF. The committee also recommends for the continuous capacity building of fund account managers on financial reporting standards, record keeping, and procurement laws and regulations. The Honorable Speaker, I wish to move and request Honorable Ngeleche to second this report. Thank you.
The Honorable Julius Mawade. The Honorable Wilberforce Oundo. Who is seconding? The Honorable Ngeleche is seconding.
Yes.
The MP for Elgeyo Marakwet. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Persons
beg
for
to second the
appointment to the
motion
offices
that
of Cabinet
this House adopts the
Secretaries.
third report of the
Honorable
Decentralized Funds
members,
Accounts Committee on examination
Standing
of the
Order
reports of the
42-1
Auditor General
relating to
financial
message
statements
from the
for
President
national government,
provides that the
constituency
Speaker
development
shall
fund,
read
that
to
is
the House
NGCDF,
any message from
for
the
9
President
constituencies in Bungoma
delivered
County.
to the Speaker for
Honorable
communication
Speaker,
to the
since
House.
the establishment of the
In this
fund
regard, I
through
wish to convey to the House that
enactment
I
of the
have received a
Constitution's
message
Development Fund,
from His
CDF,
Excellency
in
the President
2003,
notifying the nomination of various persons for appointment to the offices of Cabinet Secretaries. In the message,
through infrastructure development,
His Excellency the President
funding in
conveys that in
education,
excess of
and
powers
other projects
conferred on him
which it has funded.
by Articles
The Act
152.2 of the
the
Constitution,
amended Act,
as
National
read together
Government
with
Constituency Development
Sections 3
Fund,
and 5
Act
of the
2015
Public
has
Appointments
since
Parliamentary
undergone
Approval
further
Act
amendments to align
2011.
it to the
He
Constitution.
nominates various persons for appointment to
Honorable
the
Speaker, the issue of delay in
aforementioned
disbursement of
offices.
funds from the
For clarity,
Exchequer
Article
continues
152.2
to
of the
affect
Constitution
projects
states,
implementation leading to audit queries in
Seven.
all the constituencies examined. This is a matter
Order, honorable members, order.
timely and adequate
Cabinet
disbursement
Secretary, Minister of
of funds
Defense,
to the NGCDF board by the Treasury for
Dr.
release to the constituency.
Andrew
This will
Mwihia
ensure that
Karanja,
planned projects
Cabinet
are implemented
Secretary, Minister
promptly for the
Under
benefit
Soipan
of the
Tuya
people.
AGH, Cabinet Secretary,
while
Minister
we
of
laud the
Defense,
good work the NGCDF has done,
Dr. Andrew Mwihia Karanja, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Agriculture and Livestock Development. Order, honorable members.
Title deeds, Mr. Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary,
The
Minister of
committee recommended
Education,
that then NGCDF board, in
Housing
conjunction with
and Urban Development,
NGCDFCs, should ensure
are
that
as
title
follows.
deeds are obtained from the
Honorable
for
Professor
the affected
Kithure
projects
Kindiki,
within 3 months of
EGH,
the adoption of this report, and that
Cabinet Secretary, Ministry
accounts
of
managers
Interior and
should
National
ensure that
Administration.
the PMCs purchase land in
Dr.
the area
Deborah
where there is clear
Mulongo
ownership
Barasa,
documents, especially
Cabinet
in the areas
Secretary,
where
Minister of
land
Health.
adjudication has been
Honorable Alice
done.
Wahome,
Mr. Speaker,
EGH,
a matter that a committee
Cabinet
continues to
Secretary,
engage with the
Minister of
examining
Lands,
constituencies
Public
audit
Works,
accounts in the
Housing,
case where
and
fund
Urban
managers
Development.
failed to avail
Dr.
documents
Julius
to
Migos
the
Ogamba,
auditors during the
Cabinet
audit
Secretary,
window.
Minister of Education.
This has led to
Honorable
queries being raised on
Rosalinda
matters
Soipan
which would
Tuya,
have been
EGH,
ordinarily addressed had the
Cabinet
documents been
Secretary,
obtained during the
Ministry
audit
of
period.
Defense.
The committee recommends that the NGCDF
Dr.
board
Andrew
should
Mwihia
ensure
Karanja,
that fund managers-
Cabinet
fund-
Secretary,
fund
Ministry of
account managers
Agriculture and
comply with
Livestock
provision of the
Development.
Section 62, 1B
Order.
and C of the Public
Order.
Audit Act, number 34,
Order.
2015, requiring
On
accounting
order.
officers to provide the information
Honorable-
within a reasonable time that is required
Honorable
under this Act.
Rosalinda
Mr.
Soipan
Speaker,
Tuya,
the
AGH,
NGCDF continues to support
Cabinet
the
Secretary,
government in
Minister of
constituencies,
Defense.
and we should all support measures aimed
Dr.
at strengthening the
Andrew
management of the
Mwihia
fund.
Karanja,
Implementation of the
Cabinet
committee
Secretary,
recommendation
Minister of Agriculture and
as
Livestock
contained in this
Development.
report
Order, honorable members.
go a long way
Order.
in enhancing the management
Order.
of this critical fund.
Honorable Aden Bare Duale, EGH,
I support.
Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry. Order.
On its consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for 9 constituencies in Bungoma County for financial years 2013-2014, 2014-2015, and 2015-2016, which was laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 7th March 2024. Honorable Julius Mawade wants to speak to this now. The Honorable Wilberforce Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to contribute on the motion that has been presented here. I don't come from Bungoma County, so I'll also make just general remarks concerning the general observations that have been laid beyond the table as moved by the committee. Number one, Honorable Speaker, I need to be very clear to the people of Kenya that members of parliament are not the accounting officers of NGCDF. Members of parliament have no role to play at all in the implementation of the projects. Their role begins and ends at public participation and probably just general oversight, and to ensure that the funds allocated for that particular constituency are utilized as per the law and as per the PFM Act. Honorable Speaker, therefore, if there is any impropriety, if there is any audit queries, they must be directed to the rightful persons and not event the anger of members of parliament. Honorable Speaker, in the past few weeks, in respect of this Gen Z, demonstrations, many members here have been cited for all the malpractices that have been highlighted in the audit reports in respect of the members, in respect of those constituencies. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to urge the committee, especially the one on CDF, to make the following recommendations and strongly pass over to the NGCDF board so that we are able to strengthen and make sure things run properly. Number one, Honorable Speaker, all accounting officers are obligated by the Audit Act and the Constitution to provide audit documents. Where the audit documents are not provided, Honorable Speaker, is the responsibility of the board to take necessary sanctions against those funds accounts officers who failed to produce those documents. Number two, Honorable Speaker, the accounting officers, that's the firm, are also obligated to make sure the proper books of account are maintained at all times. Honorable Speaker, things like bank reconciliation becoming an audit query is an indictment of the level or the quality or the capacity of these accounting officers. So, Honorable Speaker, one of the recommendations, therefore, another recommendation that needs to pass very clearly, there must be capacity building. They should not just pick anybody to become a fund accounts manager who does not have the capacity, cannot even maintain a books of account. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, there is always many challenges at the time of transition, from one committee to another, and from one accounting officer to another. And that particular moment, there are so many gaps that are normally found in the respective files. I have also witnessed in my constituents, Honorable Speaker, it's therefore important that there must be a mechanism put in place at the board to ensure the handover is seamless and all the documents are handed over. And if the outgoing fund manager still remains in service, that fund account manager should be held liable and must be obligated to provide all the information that's required. Nevertheless, Honorable Speaker, we also want those Office of the Auditor General to understand the unique circumstances, the unique nature of NGCDF. Honorable Speaker, some of the requirements, be it in procurement or tendering, might not be achievable depending on where the particular project is being undertaken. I'm sure, Honorable Speaker, if you went to the remotest part of this country, for example, Mandera, whatever side, or Wajir, to get probably all the contractors who have got all the requirements, is going to be a tall order. If we do not look at it sympathetically, look at it in a more robust manner, then we are going to condemn all the projects in this country. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, whatever happens, NGCDF remains the only engine of development that can be noticed all over wherever we go. I want to urge my colleagues, NGCDF belongs to the people of the constituency, do not belong to the members of parliament. Members of parliament should avoid personalizing NGCDF projects. You don't have to fix your photo on a school bus you are bought for a school. You do not need to fix your photo on the posters or the signboards that we normally are required for purposes of as required on the board. Honorable Speaker, we must as a people guard, because the recipients of CDF have no problem with the CDF. It's only the lazy bodies, the busy bodies all over the country who think that NGCDF is a license for an MP to be re-elected. NGCDF is a poisoned chalice that is normally can either send an MP home or can retain an MP. It's not an automatic passage to the next point. But I want to urge my colleagues that wherever we are, let's talk about NGCDF because
waliambia watu tujenge safina. Tujenge safina.
The other day, I saw in a report somewhere, there's a certain constituency where the school infrastructure is dilapidated, and the only thing you can see are those ones done by NGCDF. The county has never built an ECD block. The county has never done anything. So we must not bastardize. We must always strengthen NGCDF. And we want to ask our colleagues in the Senate, if they have nothing important to do, if they have nothing important to debate in their chamber, let not waste their time talking about NGCDF. We don't talk about their Senate Oversight Fund, which they only use to probably to eat mandazis and keep girlfriends and mistresses in their offices. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support the report.
Thank you. Member for Oraka.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for recognizing my presence in the House. I would have passed it, but I cannot pass an opportunity such as this to contribute to issues concerning my people. Mr. Speaker, this is very interesting. Mr. Speaker, sir, you see in Ruaraka, there are several efforts to be able to resolve the issues of interest to my electorate. One of them is intervention of the devolution. The other is the direct intervention of national government. We have seen all this over the years, but until the solution of Constituency Development Fund came, there has been no other attempt at reaching the basic needs of the people as has been with the disbursements of CDF, especially in issues of education and security. I'm aware that there is a tussle, but this tussle is elitist, sponsored by those who think that all the funds should go to devolution. If you think like that, then there would be no reason for division of revenue. When you think about it, Mr. Speaker, once there is division of revenue, which is in the Constitution, the revenue which remains to the national government has authority and has the leeway to be able to spend it in the best manner in which it can impact on the people. So this money called Constituency Development Fund does not come at all from the devolved funds. Professor Undo here would assist me. It does not come at all from the devolved funds. There is division of revenue. Whether I like it or not, at some point we would have to divide revenue, and at some point, whether it is in for 35%, 45%, 50%, or even 70%, some money will have to go to the national revenue and devolve. So we are just talking about the national. So to that extent, when I hear a lot of resistance, especially from the Council of Governors, resisting that devolution would mean more money to them, I think they have just lost concept of the constitutional order in which money is divided. Mr. Speaker, together with the action of this House in looking afresh at the CDF Act and aligning it with the provision of the court rulings, and especially on the Constitution, the Member of Parliament has no chance except mobilizing his people during public participation, and has been said by Professor Oundo. What I want to say, this country must, choose to develop. If they choose to develop, then they must allow those who are able to mobilize communities to be able to ignite enough funds that would stimulate growth at the constituency level. Now, some of us, we earn our salaries, and my salary is enough to pay for the services. As I stand before you here, my salary has been paid. I have no appetite, I have no interest in putting my fingers in monies which I don't have legislation authority over. In fact, one would say that now I don't have money to spend on funerals, on weddings. Maybe at some point I will urge the House to allocate, if at all the economy recovers, so that I can have money to pay for funerals and weddings. But as of now, my legislative duties, my representation duties, my oversight duties are well paid by my salary. So this misnomer that governors think that, of course, if they destabilize CDF or, for that matter, the other house, that then that would give them the opportunity to put their fingers on this tail. In fact, it is the reverse. Mr. Speaker, have you asked yourself why governors, for example, give bursaries to students? If their mandate, their constitutional mandate is about ECD, and the law is ECD, what is this mandate they have that they are exercising to give bursaries? So this is just a confused system. We have to come to order so that monies are concentrated where the Constitution has directed them to be. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Kajwang, did you say governors are giving bursary to secondary and university students?
I am shocked, Mr. Speaker, that the bulk, I've never had a governor give ECD, and I'm waiting for governors to be able to give scholarships for the bright children in preparatory 1 and preparatory 2. I'm waiting for that day when a governor will call nursery students to give ECD. The money is paid to secondary students, university students. The other day, somewhere in Eldoret, and the governor, who is now an honorable member of parliament, has never been able to respond to this, that tranches of thousands and thousands of money were paid to some students going abroad.